So thank you for being patient with me and waiting for a couple of minutes. I just finished my other business meeting, which went on time. Good morning. I'm in a different place, as you can see. I'm in Florida with my daughters. So if I have to stop a little early instead of the full 1 hour, please bear with me because it's our grandson's first birthday. I show him anytime. So he's just waking up. ॐ गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं मवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पद आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। नो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामभित्र्यवतु महासरस्वत्यै नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे सर्वलोकानां विषये बहुरोगिणां विधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। तस्मिन् गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। देवीं वाचं जनयन्त देवाः तां विश्वरूपा पशवो वदन्ति सा नो मन्दिरेषु मूर्जन्दुहानां धेनुर्वागस्मान् प्रतिष्ठितैतु व्यासं वदिष्ठदत्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकदादं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। शिवशक्तिसमारम्भां भास्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मश्रीनाथपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रीललितामहात्रिपुरसुन्दरी समेत श्रीचन्द्रमौळीश्वराय नमः। श्रीकाञ्चीकामकोटिपीठाधिपतिगुरु श्रीशङ्कराचार्य श्रीचरणयोः प्रणामाः। स्वस्ति श्रीमदखिलभूमण्डलालङ्कारत्रयत्रिंशत्कोटिदेवतासेवित श्रीकामाक्षी देवी सनाथ श्रीमते काम्रनाथ श्रीमहादेवी सनाथ श्रीहस्तगिरिनाथ साक्षात्कार परमाधिष्ठान सत्यव्रतनामाङ्गित काञ्ची दिव्यक्षेत्रे शारदामठस्थितानाम् अतुलितसुधारसमाधुर्य कमलादर कामिनी धम्मिल्ल सम्फुल्ल मल्लिका मालिका निष्यन्द मकरन्द झरी सौवस्तिक वाङ् निगुम्ब विजृम्भणानन्द तुन्दलित मनीषि मण्डलानाम् अनवरताद्वैत विद्या विनोदरसिकानां निरन्तरालङ्कृतीकृत शान्तिदान्ति भूम्नां सकलभुवनचक्रप्रतिष्ठापक श्रीचक्रप्रतिष्ठा विख्यात यशोऽलङ्कृतानां निखिलपाषण्डषण्डकण्ठकोद्घाटनेन विशदीकृत वेदवेदान्तमार्गषण्मदप्रतिष्ठापकाचार्याणां श्रीमत्परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्यवर्य श्री जगद्गुरु श्रीमच्छंकर भगवत्पादाचार्याणाम् अधिष्ठाने सिंहासनाभिषिक्त श्रीमच्चंद्रशेखरेन्द्र सरस्वती संयमीन्द्राणाम् अधिष्ठाने सिंहासनाभिषिक्त श्रीमज्जयेन्द्र सरस्वती संयमीन्द्राणाम् अन्तेवासिवर्य श्रीमच्छंकर विजयेन्द्र सरस्वती श्रीपादानां च चरणधरणयोः सप्रश्रयं साञ्जलिबन्धं नमस्कुर्मः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. So first I want to acknowledge Deepa from the US. She has sent the audio files for me to review, and it was the first feedback that I received from whoever is learning from me on this particular batch. Excellent pronunciation. I've encouraged her to post that audio file in the group so you all can get motivated, and you also can feel that if somebody pays attention to the inputs given and takes it very seriously, it's not very difficult to reach a very high level of perfection in chanting. So it is very impressive. It is very encouraging for me. So I have requested her to share the audio file in the group. I'm sure others, all of you also will be doing the same thing, but this can motivate you. So I don't encourage competition in a very hostile way, but it should be a healthy competition where one gets motivated to do even better than the other. That's the way we raise our standard. So that is one. Second is these are two people who are very sincere students doing a lot of homework, Sita ji and Venkat ji. So she interacts a lot with me, to her credit. And if you remember, I had given you a little bit of homework about finding out what is Para Pashyanti Madhyama Vaikhari. So she ultimately did the homeworks, shared a lot of information, which I would encourage her to share it in the group herself. And once I saw that work, then I shared the...
Guruji, please do it. Guruji, you please do that on
Okay, no problem.
Guruji, it will be fine.
So I will share her message to me, and I'll share my response to her message in the group after the class. So it should motivate all of you to know more about all these things, more and more, because we have lived our life chanting so many things, and I know all of you would have gone to so many temples and done so many parikramas and everything, uh, if you really start relating to why you're doing what you're doing, it is even better. And my ultimate goal is to make sure that most of you really get down to the bottom of what is Sanatana Dharma, the evolution of things, and where we are today and where it started, because that is going to make you feel better. So, to that extent, since we are going to start with Nyasa, I will give a very, very high level overview of Nyasa than what I had given last time. Uh, if you feel it is worth it, then I'm going to do a separate podcast on just Nyasa per se. What is the concept of Nyasa scientifically? How, what is the closest that we can bring it to, and why Nyasa is important? Because this is something that people don't really believe it. Even people who have learned Vedas years and years ago, they just say, oh, for the sake of it, they just do it quickly and move forward. Whereas Nyasa is a very powerful tool. So, one good sloka that uh, came to my mind is Yatra Yatra Mano Yati Tatra Tatra Samadhaya. Again, you have it on YouTube, you can replay it, you don't have to memorize it now. Yatra Yatra Mano Yati Tatra Tatra Samadhaya. The meaning of this, wherever the mind goes, there samadhi follows. Now, samadhi, for many of you, you may think that you have to lie horizontally dead. That is what is samadhi. That is not the true meaning. Samam means balance. I'm trying to give everything in a very simplistic language. So, technically, it may be a little off, but it is good for you to understand. Samam means balance, equilibrium. So, take anything in life. You have happiness, you have sorrows. You have sweet, you have spice. Correct? So God could have created everything with only one, right? You have male, female. Everything is balanced. So when you reach that equilibrium, ability to maintain the equilibrium about these two diverging aspects is what is called samadhi. So you can reach samadhi also through your sadhana. When you're walking and talking and living your normal life, you can attain that status even in your normal life. So these are the misconceptions that you need to remove. So, what is the meaning of the word nyasa? The root word nyasa is to deposit or to install something, to place something. That is what the real meaning, technical meaning of nyasa is, and is one of the core principles of Sanatana Dharma. You take anything that you chant, you should have nyasa coming in. You begin with nyasa, you end with nyasa. So, Digbandhanam, Digvimokam, I already talked about in the last class. Slightly elaborating on that. Here, the fundamental principle is that sparsham is important. Sparsha is touch. So if I do nyasa like this, it is sparsham. I'm touching that part of the body with my fingers. So there's no point in doing nyasa with all this winter jacket and everything on your body. It doesn't really help. So it has to be done with the sparsha. Then the intention, the focus of what you're trying to achieve, of bringing in the deity into that part of the body. Then you chant a mantra. The mantra could be a simple Om Pranava, or it could be a Bijakshara, or it could be a proper Mula mantra, or it could be a name of the Devata. So that is the third element. The fourth element is the breath control. So you do deep breathing and pranayama, the breath control, which is essential for uh, very bringing in stability in everything. Your focus, your physical stability, everything that is required to do the further chanting. So imagine if you're doing Shuklam, Vishnu, Shashvanam, Chaturbhujam, there's no point in doing it. Because go back to the physics, the way the meter is designed, the way the aksharas are assembled, it's all God's gift in terms of the harmonics that we want to create. And you can create only when you do the justice to the akshara, matra, swara, everything. And you can do it only when you get your mental and physical ability in your capacity before you start chanting. Even if you start chanting for 10 minutes only, it's essential that you get these factors under control. So Nyasa is a very powerful tool. And I'm into counseling for almost 40, 45 years. So I can tell you one thing. In the last 5 years or 10 years, I've started making it a mandatory thing for people to practice this, and it is showing good results. So you can practice it for yourself, and you can also teach it to people that you know. So this is based in every document that you want to take as a reference. It's not something that I'm cooking up. You'll find it in Panchatantra text, the Shaiva text or Agama text, Shakta text. Take anything, any puja vidhi that you take, you'll find Nyasa as a very core element in the principle. So what it says is that the body is the first and the most intimate temple. Mark the words. The body is the first and the most intimate temple. And the reason for this is we are taught many things from childhood of how to deal with gender, how to deal with body, how to look at body, how to speak about body. Every one of us have got different inputs, and that is the impression that we live with for all our lives. When it comes to puja, when it comes to pujanam or doing anything spiritual, that understanding needs to be recalibrated, and it is very, very essential. If you're really into the concept of pujanam, this mind has to first evolve. So I'll give you one example. Many people think it is a taboo to talk about breast, right? That is the way you're taught. Oh, you cannot talk about it in public. But you can either have that as a good organ that feeds a baby milk, or you can look at it in a very nasty way, the way you're taught, if you don't have the knowledge of the purposes of various organs. So if you believe that it is a good organ that God has gifted us with, then when I say do the Shakti and Bijam, etc., you shouldn't be feeling shy or feeling very uncomfortable to do those things. So that requires a level of maturity for you to be able to do the nyasa and by touching the right parts of the body. This is number one. Number two, we rely more on the alcohol based sanitizers or the water that comes from the tap, which nobody knows what the source is, nobody knows what the purity is, because we never understood the power of the mantra, that a mantra, chanting a mantra can purify your body. So, this is a fundamental shift that you need to have if you want to believe in nyasa. And when you touch your feet in doing nyasa, it doesn't mean that your feet is dirty, so your hands are now becoming dirty. How can you touch a flower and put archana after doing nyasa? So there is a conceptual recalibration of your mind that is required, and which is why I'm saying this, that nyasa is to reinforce the thought process in you. That body is not to be seen from a profanity standpoint. Body needs to be seen as a temple, and that's where you invoke all the deities or the gods into different parts of the body. Okay, so when you start lagunyasa or short nyasas, it's all about karanyasa and anganyasa. When you go to a lagunyasa, if you see, the parts of the body will be increased. Mahanyasa is even more. And when you get into the tantric version of the story, you will have a lot of private parts where you do nyasa as well, because none of these things need to be excluded. They need to be included in your pujanam, because the very fact that we are all alive as a human being with prana and vayu, etc., is because of all those factors that we think is a taboo. So first and the foremost is body should be considered as a intimate temple. That's the first word. So nyasa is the act of consecrating the temple by invoking the deity. So when you really look at the source of the Vedic origin, here the concept of body as a microcosm or as a pinda, reflecting the macrocosm, which is the Brahmanda. I think I've mentioned about this also in my previous classes, and if you want to go into the depth of it, you can watch all my videos of Mundaka Upanishad, where I've gone into elaborate detail for almost 1.5 years. But at the highest level, you can say body is considered as a pinda, and which is a microcosm, and the macrocosm is the Brahmanda. And the process of creating the Brahmanda is the same as the process of us human beings being created. So anything which you tune your body is also in tune with the Brahmanda. That is the concept that we follow in trying to do Nyasa. So here the Shatapata Brahmana is the word keyword which is there, which describes the cosmic person Purusha, whose body parts correspond to different realms of creation, the whole process of creation. In Taittiriya Upanishad, there are key things like Panchakosha doctrine. How many of you are familiar with Panchakoshas? No? You are? So can you share quickly? What do you know? Unmute yourself, please.
So first is Annamaya Kosha,
Correct.
then Pranamaya Kosha,
Correct.
Manomaya Kosha,
Correct.
Vijnanamaya Kosha,
Correct.
and Anandamaya Kosha.
Perfect. So, if you look at your body, there are three ways you can look at it. A is Stula Sharira, gross body. Then Sukshma Sharira, which has got all the chakras and nadis that we talk about. And Karana Sharira, which is the causal body. And I say it in simple words. Imagine it like a balance sheet that goes with you wherever you go throughout the day. How many good acts you did, how many bad acts you did. So, credits and debits. At the end of the day, the balance sheet is tallied before you go to sleep. You wake up next day, opening balance, and continues. Life continues till you breathe your last. That is one way of looking at your body. Then the other five koshas is a fundamental principle. I think I've created some diagrams which I can share for those of you who are interested, but it will be released in a podcast separately. Koshas are the sheets. So Annamaya kosha is actually Anna is very clear, self-explanatory, correct? So that is the kosha in which the food that you consume gets used and distributed across the physical cells, etc. So go to the concept of matter and energy. Matter is physical, energy is Shakti that drives every one of those things. So Pranamaya kosha can be considered as the energy source. So there are various pranas in your body, five of which is most important. One that does excretion, your urine and stools, etc., is driven by that prana. There is another that takes care of the vayu. There's another that distributes the energy throughout your body. There is another prana that allows you to walk without toppling, balancing of your body and all. So there are 36 such pranas, out of which five are far more important. And when you actually are ready to die, your time has come. 3 or 4 days prior to that, these things will start shutting down. All the 36 pranas, one by one, one by one. The last one is the actual prana, the Vayu prana that goes, and that is why it's pranam poidite or pran nikal gaya in Hindi, right? I think you are Hindi, right? Ms. Kapoor. Yeah. So pran nikal gaya jo bolte hain hum Hindi mein, that is the last one. It is like the last switch turning off, and then you are declared dead. But there are 35 other things that shuts down systematically. So these are real things. These are not some fiction or imaginative stuff or mythology that the Western world wants us to be brainwashed or believe in. I would recommend each one of you to go into basic level of detail. None of you need to go PhD level, but at least basic level so you know what you're made up of, what you're doing, and why you're doing. Because when you talk the concept of temple, worship, these things matter. Each one of us have got a different energy constitution within us. By gender, it is different. By age, it is different. By practices, it's different. When you do shlokas every day, your constitution changes. When you go to temples and come back, constitution changes. And it was very sad for me to see the Sabrimala case fought in Supreme Court under totally false, irrelevant pretext. All that one should have said in one hearing is that Sabrimala is on the Shat Chakra principle. It has got nothing to do with women or menstruation or anything of that sort. It is absolutely useless TRP discussion that went on. You cannot get into Shabarimala, the highest level, which is the highest chakra, if you have not been to the lower level chakras and energized your body enough to withstand that energy at Shabarimala. That is the bottom line. So it's a mandala principle that is followed in the construction of temples. It is not brick and mortar construction. So if you get into Agama Shastra, you'll know a lot about all these things. So Nyasa is again energizing your body parts, activating it to keep your mental and physical fitness. So here again there is one more saying like Yatha Dehe Tatha Brahmande. It is summarizing whatever I said. Like whatever happens in our body is what is happening in the Brahmanda. So your Nyasa is going to be very powerful in keeping you fit. So there are several books that talks about this. Kularnava Tantra, Mahanirvana Tantra, Tantra Sara from Abhinava Gupta, then Sharada Tilaka Tantra, Pancharata Samhidas, Devi Bhagavata Purana, Parashurama Kalpasutra. And for those of you who are interested in knowing, is it something that is already mentioned in our books? I can go on and on and on. to all those books that talks about this. So the philosophy is body is the deity, body is the temple. You believe it, and you live by that belief, and you do this. And Nyasa, in my opinion, does not have any muhurtam that you can only do it in the morning, you can only do it in the afternoon or evening. I believe I can do Nyasa wherever I sit. If I'm in a waiting room somewhere, I do Nyasa quietly. If I'm not embarrassed, if I'm very confident of what I'm doing, I do Nyasa there also. I don't have any problem. So the Panchakosha framework that you talked about is activated through this Nyasa principle, and it is going to be keeping your entire system in a very well-oiled machine format. So that is the essence of Nyasa. So power of mantra. Maybe some other time I'll go into the detail of what mantra is all about. But power of mantra, Shakti, and Nada and Bindu continuum. These are the key words that you remember, uh, which keeps us going from us in a spiritual journey. Spiritual journey is not just about reading PDF. It's to practice these things that are procedures that are given to you, and there are strict guidelines and procedures. And if you are into Srividya Upasana, very, very advanced nyasas are available for different mantra japa or pujas. Very powerful concepts and techniques for those of you who are interested. So here again, the highest level, I will say this and stop, is called Matruka Nyasa, which is followed in Sri Vidya Upasana. Matruka mantra is like those 56 syllables that we follow. Am, im, rum, rum, lum, lum, aim, ah. Kang khang gang gang hum cham cham jam jam nyam tam tam dam dam nam tam tam dam dam nam pam pam bam bam mum yam ram lam mum sham tam tam hum lam sham aha nama. So all those 56 aksharas are matrukas. So you implant those bijaksharas in front of any shloka that you chant, it multiplies the power of that shloka. So you don't go to that level in Vishnu Sahasranama. We do that in Lalita Sahasranama and other, Navakshari or Panchadashi or Shodashi japas. And only when you do those sadhanas, you will see the difference. I don't know how many of you believe when you do Upanayam for your boy, you will see that there is a tejas coming in the boy's face just after the Upanayana, because there is a Gayatri Mantra Udeshan that happens, and they do Sandhya Vandanam, Trikala Sandhya Vandanam, and even Samidhanam. You will see the difference in the glow that the boy gets. So there is nothing like proprietary stuff for boys or men. Women also have all these tools that you can use to develop yourself in a big way. Okay, so with that I'll stop. Again, core principles are sparsha, which is touch; mantra, which is the syllable, the way you chant it; bhavana, the intent or the visualization; and prana, the breath control; and the sequence. You can't just do randomly something somewhere wherever you want. There is a sequence that is normally prescribed, and you just follow it. Make sense? So I hope it was not very overwhelming. If it is useful, please go ahead and so we stopped at 22nd shloka, correct? Last time. Aneka Rupa Daityantam Namami Purushottamam. The next one is now Sri Vedavyasa Uvacha. Sri Vedavyasa Uvacha. Om Asya Shri Vishnu Divya Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya. Asya Shri Vishnu Divya Sahasranama Stotra Mahamantrasya. Shri Vedavyaso Bhagavan Rishihi. Rishi is always at the top. Shri Vedavyaso Bhagavan Rishihi. This is my right hand, so make sure that you also follow the same thing. Anushtup Chandaha. Anushtup Chandaha. Shri Mahavishnu Paramatma Sriman Narayano Devata. So this is the heart. So Rishihi Chandaha Devata. Devata is the soft part of the sternum, wherever the rib cage is making a U-turn. Then Amritan Shudbhavo Bhanuriti Bijam, right side breast. Devaki Nandanasrashteti Shaktihi. So Amritan Shudbhavo Bhanuriti Bijam. Amritan, Shu is Dirgam. Shudbhavo Mahaprana. Bhanuriti. Riti is Rasvam short. Bijam. B is Dirgam. Bijam. Devaki, ki is Dirgam again. Don't get into the habit of saying Devaki. It is Devaki, Devaki, Nandanas. Nandanaha will become Nandanas. Nandanas Rashteti Shaktihi. Shaktihi is left breast. Udbhavah Kshobhano Deva iti paramo mantraha. You can do this. Mantraha, you can hold your hand like this. So Udbhavah, here the Visarga doesn't get substituted because the following akshara is Ksha. Right? So Udbhavah Kshobhano Deva iti paramo mantraha. Then Kilakam is between the Nabhi and the heart, midpoint. So your navel and heart, midpoint of that is Kilakam. Kilakam is generally you touch like this with the thumb, or you can touch it with this also, same way. So Shankhabrinandaki Chakriti Kilakam. Shankhabrin, br is hard. Shankhabrinandaki, ki is dirgam. Chakriti Kilakam. Sharngadanbhagadadhar ityastram. Ityastram you can do like this also, or you can do keep your hand like this. So Sharngadhanbhagadadhar ityastram. Gada is the Damayanti da. Dhara, dha is dhanam dhanyam da. So Gadadhara. Whenever you have the hard and soft syllables, mentally give a pause, slight pause to flip it. If you try to do it without practice, Gadadhara, you will always say the opposite. So while learning Gadadhara, 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 you practice like that, and then slowly it will come with the normal roll of the tongue. रथांगपाणिरक्षोभ्य इति नेत्रम नेत्रम रथांगपाणिरक्षोभ्य इति नेत्रम त्रिसामा सामगस samagah will become samagas sameti kavacham is cross shoulder त्रिसामा सामगस sameti kavacham आनंदम परः ब्रह्मेति योनिहि आनंदम Parah Brahmeti Yonihi. Yonihi is your genital. So you can put your hand there and do that. Ritus Sudarshanah Kala. Ritus, Rituhu will become Ritus. Sudarshanah will become Sudarshanah Kala. Iti Digbandhaha. Digbandhanam is like this clockwise. From here over your right shoulder and back all the way to the front. Ritis Sudarshanah Kala iti Digbandhaha. Then Dhyanam means like this. And again, here I have told you, either you can do simple like this, or you want to be more technical. You see my hand, this thumb is not kept open, it is closed. And you do this. Slightly bend the thumb like this so that knuckles, and that knuckle can be put against your heart. Okay, there are 4 stages of this Anjali Mudra. It's called Anjali Mudra. You can keep it here, you can keep it here, you can keep it here, or you can go like this. There are 4 stages. Each one is meant for different purposes and different audience. The last one is for the Guru, total surrender. So when you do this, it's always for the Guru, complete surrender. So Sri Vishwarupa iti dhyanam. And when you chant here, by this time you are completely focused about visualizing Lord Vishnu. You cannot have your thought process going here and there, because you are now visualizing and you are calling out. Just like I'm saying, Preeti ji, please unmute yourself. Then you know that I'm talking to you and you pay attention to me. Otherwise, if I'm talking to you but I'm looking at somebody else, the conversation is not going to happen. So dhyanam is a very important aspect where you visualize and you say Shri Mahavishnu Preetyarthe Sahasranama jape viniyogaha. So here there are different variations, as I said. Some people say jape, some people say pathe. And if you ever do homam, etc., you have to replace those words with havane. But majority is Sahasranamam pate or japam. So you can say Sahasranama jape viniyogaha. I do like this out of habit. Even if you keep it like this, that is okay. Now, atha nyasaha, you don't have to chant it. It is instruction for people. Atha nyasaha means it's the beginning of nyasam. So don't say that. That is only an instruction. So again, Om Shirasi Vedavyasarshaye Namaha. Vedavyasarshaye Namaha. Mukhe Anushtup Chandase Namaha. Then Hridi is heart. Shri Krishna Paramatma Devata Yai Namaha. Yai is Dirgam. So make sure that you chant Yai properly. Hridi Shri Krishna Paramatma Devata Yai Namaha. Guhye is again your genitals. So Guhye Amritan Shudbhavo Bhanuriti Bija Yanamaha. Guhye Amritan Shudbhavo Bhanuriti Bija Yanamaha. Then feet. Again, I've explained this in the beginning. I'm just quickly reminding you. The bijam is the genital. Shakti is your feet. So feet means if you're sitting cross-legged like this is your left leg, this is your right leg. So your hand right has to go to the right leg, left has to go to the left. So you cross your arm. But right now I'm sitting in a chair. I'm not sitting cross-legged. So I should not do cross. It must be straight. My right hand goes to the right feet, left hand goes to the touching the left feet. Make sense? So remember that. So don't blindly do cross or straight. It depends on how you're sitting. The end goal is right hand should touch the right feet, left hand should touch the left feet. So Padayor Devaki Nandana Srashteti Shaktaye Namaha. Then we can do Sarvange. Sarvange Shankhabrinandaki Chakriti Kilaka Yanamaha. Or you can do Kilakam into the Navi area also, the midpoint between heart and Navi. Karasampute Mama Shri Krishna Prityarthe Jape Viniyogaha. Again, Viniyogam. Now, Iti Rishyadi Nyasaha. It is not to be chanted. It is a note for you. Iti means end. The Rishyadi Nyasam ends here. Atha Nyasaha beginning. Iti means ending. Now, Atha Karanyasaha. You get into the Karanyasa, which is 6 parts of the hand. This thumb is touched by the index finger because that's the closest. It's painful to do like this, right? So use the thumb nyasam through index finger. So you slide from bottom to the top like this, and you use thumb for the remaining 4 fingers. This is Angushtha Bhyam Namaha, Tarjani Bhyam Namaha, Madhyama Bhyam Namaha, Anamika Bhyam Namaha, Kanishthika Bhyam Namaha, Karatala, Karaprishthabhyam Namaha. Tala means front, Prishtham means back, Kara means hand. So you do the left hand with the right hand, right hand with the left hand, the same way back. Karatala Karaprishthabhyam. These are the 6 Karanyasam. Anganyasam starts from heart, Shiras, Shikhai. Shikhai normally touch it with this. Don't touch with this. Touch it with this. Then Kavachaya Hum, Netratrayaya Vaushat. Last is Astraya Phat. This is my left hand, this is my right hand. 1, 2, 3. Astraya Phat. Then Digbandhanam starts like this. Remember that? We can play the YouTube again if I'm going too fast. So Atha Karanyasa. Om Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkara Ityangushthabhyam Namaha. Itya Angushtabhyam or Iti Angushtabhyam. So Ityangushthabhyam Namaha. Amritam Shudbhavo Bhanuriti Tarjani Bhyam Namaha. Right? Angushtabhyam Chalumbadi is Panano. Tarjanibhyam, when you say this, you do this while you're chanting. Amritan Shudbhavo Bhanuriti Tarjanibhyam Namaha. Brahmanyo Brahmakrit Brahmeti Madhyamabhyam Namaha. Brahmanyo Brahmakrit Brahmeti Madhyamabhyam Namaha. Suvarnavindurakshobhya ityanamikabhyam Namaha. If you don't know how to pronounce it, iti anamikabhyam. When it is combined, it becomes ityanamikabhyam Namaha. Suvarnabindurakshobhya ityanamikabhyam Namaha. Then Nimisho Nimishasragviti. Nimisho Nimishasragviti. Nimisho kapram or avagraha irke, that is for filling the meter. So Nimisho Nimishaha will become Nimisho Nimishas Sragviti Kanishtikabhyam Namaha. So wherever there is a ta, you have to make sure that you pronounce it as ta. It is Kanish. Ish is soft, push powder. Kanishti. It is ta hard. So follow the rule. The ish half syllable goes with ni. Kanish. It allows you to free up to say ti. So don't try to rush through the whole thing. Mentally visualize. Kanish Thikabhyam. Kanish Thikabhyam. That will allow you to do the Mahaprana properly. Rathangavani Rakshobhya iti Karatalakara Prishtabhyam Namaha. Okay. So iti Karanyasa means that is the end of Karanyasa. Ata Shadanganyasa. Shadanganyasam is a shorter form of Sashta Anganyasam. When you combine it, it becomes Shadanganyasam. These are not different names, or you don't think that one is right and one is wrong. It is just Sanskrit word game at play here. So Shadanganyasa means Om, same mantra you will see, same the Devata name or Bijakshara will get repeated for Anganyasam, what you see in Karanyasam. So Om Vishvam Vishnur Vashitkara iti Hridaya Janamaha. HRU Hridaya Namaha, heart. Amritan Shuddhavo Bhanuriti Shirase Swaha. Not that, that is Shikha. Your name is Bhavnaji, right? Did I get it right?
Yes, yes.
Correct. So
Yes.
Bhavnaji, that is Shikha. Shikha is your choti जहाँ से शुरू होता है ना, उसको शिखा बोलते हैं. शिरस यानी top of your head. You see the dip in your head, the top, that is Shiras. Yeah. Okay, so this is Shiras. So Amritan Shuddhavo Bhanuriti Shirase Swaha. Then Shikhayai Vashat. Shikhayai Vashat. That is Brahmanyo Brahmakrit Brahmeti Shikhayai Vashat. Is here. चोटी जहाँ पे चोटी आपका शुरू होता है वहाँ पे जो टच विथ द थम प्रेफरेबली टच विथ द थम या देन कवचाय हुम क्रॉस सुवर्णबिंदुरक्षोभ्य इति कवचाय हुम ह इज हार्ड हुम निमिषो निमिषस्रग्वीति नेत्रत्रयाय वौषट if you can remove your the glass and do it, it is good with the left hand, otherwise you can do it on the glass itself. Yeah, if you have memorized it, you can remove the glass, etc. But if you're reading PDF, you will lose the group chanting. If you remove glass and put it back, others would have continued and gone forward. So people give concession that you can use the glass itself and do it. I am always prepared like this. I just quickly do this and put it like this. It doesn't take much time. Rathangapani rakshobhya ityastraya phate. 3 times. Then alternatively, if you don't want to chant this, there is an alternative option. Suvrata Sumakha Sukshmeti Jnanaya Hridayaya Namaha. I would ask you to skip that for now. Because learning too many things and getting confused, I wouldn't recommend. But if anybody wants to learn that, tell me. I can send you a separate audio for that as an alternative thing. If you feel that is more attractive to, you can follow either one. But when you come to that, you make sure that you catch up at the right point again. It is Ritus Sudarshana Kala iti Bhur Bhuvasuvarom iti Digbandha. Like this. Ritus Sudarshana Kala iti Bhur Bhuvasuvarom iti Digbandha. Bhuhu Bhuvaha Suvaha. Moonu loka. Bhuhu plus Bhuvaha. Visarga substitution makes it bhur bhuvaha. Visarga gets substituted by ir. Bhuvaha followed by suvaha. Visarga substitution makes it bhuvas suvaha. Suvaha plus om followed by om. The Visarga substitution is ir. Ir plus o becomes ro. So it becomes suvarom. Im plus iti makes it miti. So bhur, bhur, not bhor. Bhor means sunrise. So bhur, bhuvas, suva, rom, miti. Bhur, bhuvas, suva, rom, miti, digbandha. Then iti shadanganyasa means shadanganyasam is done, completed. Shri Krishna Prityarthe Vishnor Divya Sahasranama Japamaham Karishye Iti Sankalpaha. Vishnor Divya Sahasranama Japam Aham Karishye. So Japam Aham Karishye Iti Sankalpaha. You want to get too technical, too priestly, you can keep a Panchapadra Udarni with Jalam. You can take a little bit of Japam and do Karishye. That also is fine. But you don't need to do so much. Now you come to the Dhyanam. Atha Dhyanam means this is where it is. So you don't say Atha Dhyanam, you just say Dhyanam. And when you say Dhyanam, your hands are folded with a knuckle like this at the heart. Kshirodanvat Pradeshe Shichimani Vilasat Saikate Mauktikanam. Kshirodanvat Pradeshe Shichimani Vilasat Saikate Mauktikanam. Mala Klipta Sanastas Sphatikamani Nibhair Maukikair Manditangaha. Mala Klipta Sanastas Sphatika Nibhair Maukikair Manditangaha. Do you want me to repeat it one more time? Or is it good? Good? Okay. Shubhrairabhrairadabhrai Shubhrairabhrairadabhrairu Parivirachitair Muktapiyushavarshai. Shubhrairabhrairadabhrairu Parivirachitair Muktapiyushavarshai. It is actually a script error here. Mukta Piyusha Varshaihi. If you stop there, there should be a Visarga there. If there is a Visarga, then the next line should start with Anandi. I'm giving you technicality so that you can differentiate script errors or script typographical style, typesetting patterns. So, if you are a proficient chanter, you won't stop everywhere. You will not stop with Mukta Piyusha Varshai. You will combine it with the next line because that is one shloka, correct? So Visarga, if it gets substituted, it becomes ir. Ir plus a becomes ra. Am I confusing you or am I helping you understand what the script is and how it is to be chanted? Bhavanaji, you can ask openly. Don't feel shy. It is not necessary that you get everything in once I say it.
So without Visarga, we will say Ranandi.
No, when you are going to say Ranandi, you have to ensure that you don't stop after Varshai.
That's what I'm saying. So we better stop and then we say Anandi.
Correct. You stop Piyusha Varshaihi, then you start with Anandi. Then you don't start with Ranandi. Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
I usually do it with Anandi.
But make sure that you add a Visarga there. Piyusha Varshaihi.
I will try to keep that in mind.
Okay. I will try to ask my Veda class student Aditya, the young boy, who has got a method by which you can annotate PDF. So even in PDF, when you're having in your tablet, you can just press it and you can annotate it. So you can add a Visarga there if you need.
Thank you.
I'll see if I can create a video or if I can post some message there. So our people are all very resourceful people helping each other. So we can use that. Or you can take a printout and do it manually. Then Anandi Naf Puniyadari Nalina. Okay, I can split it like this. Anandi Naha becomes Naf. Anandi Naf Puniyadari Nalina Gada Shankhapanir Mukundaha. आनन्दीनः पुनीयादरिनलिनगदा शङ्खपाणिर्मुकुन्दः आनन्दीनः पुनीयादरिनलिनगदा शङ्खपाणिर्मुकुन्दः. That is shloka number 1. Let's get to the meaning of it, because you also want the meaning. So the Nyasa part of it is all very clear. I think I've gone into extraordinary depth to explain what it is. So the shloka 1, which is Sri Krishna Prityate Vishnu Divya Stotram Japa Mahamantrasya Kshiro Danva Pradeshe Shvachivani Vilasat. That shloka meaning is in the region of the ocean of milk. In the region of the ocean of milk, seated on a garland of pure gems and pearls. Seated on a garland of pure gems and pearls, adorned with pearls resembling crystal gems. Lord Vishnu is adorned with pearls resembling crystal gems, with white clouds, with rains of free nectar. With rain means barish, rains of free nectar, delighting us. May the lotus and maze of the holy mountains, holding a conch, be our joy. Be our joy. That's the meaning of the shloka number 1. The second one, Bhuv Padav, is I bow before that God, Lord Vishnu, who is also the Lord of the 3 worlds. And again, somebody wants to do a homework of what those 3 worlds are, you can post it in the group. Who has earth at his feet, who has air as his soul, who has sky as his belly, who has moon and sun as eyes, who has 4 directions as ears, who has the land of gods as head, who has fire as his mouth, who has sea as his stomach, and in whose belly play and enjoy the gods, the men, birds, animals, serpents, Gandharvas, and Asuras. You want me to repeat it, or is it okay? It's long, but you can replay the YouTube if in case you want to take notes, etc. And don't forget, those who complete this whole curriculum of Vishnu Sahasranamam, you will be gifted with something very, very precious for your life. Not only just the simple meaning of the shloka, but also the philosophical commentary or explanation of each of the shloka by 3 stalwarts. Adi Shankaracharya, Parashara Bhattar, which is very, very popular amongst Vaishnavites. And I think even Ramanujacharya, Sri Ramanujacharya's commentary. All those 3 commentaries for each shloka with individual words, meaning, etc. I will give you that PDF. It may be 200 plus pages or more than that. So I'll give you that. So the second shloka, which I explained just now, let's finish that. Bhuhu will become Bhuv Padav. Bhuv Padav. Bhu means earth, right? Bhuv Padav Yasya Nabhir Vyada Sura Nilash Chandra Suryau cha netre. Suryau cha netre. So, Bhuvpadau yasya nabhirviyadasura nilaschandra suryau cha netre. So this tune and ragam, etc., we can always do later. Most important is you get the words combinations right and the groupings right. If you forget it, then you will be blaming only yourself. There are many who learn from me and who pick it up fast. There are many who struggle even after learning from me because they don't take these tips very seriously. And again and again, I'm saying it: grouping, catch the grouping. If you catch the grouping, effortlessly the tongue will roll, and it is important because your tongue and your mind are two things that doesn't come under your direct control. The most difficult things is to control your tongue and your mind. Body parts you can, these two you cannot. It takes its own course to train it, to remind it, to obey your instructions. So just having the thought that I can read the words is not enough. It has to deliver. And that is why I gave the detail. Parapashyanti Madhyama Vaikhari. So many things are happening when you're thinking to actually saying. And it comes only by training. So use those rules. Half syllable goes with the full syllable, then the grouping of the words follow exactly when you're practicing or learning. Play the YouTube back and forth and practice it. That way it will help you. So Karnavasha Shiro Dyaur Mukhamapi. Karnavasha Shaha will become Shash. Shiro Dyaur Mukhamapi. Dahano Yasya Vasteyamabdhihi. Vasteyamab. Ib is Balaram about half. Vasteyamabdhihi. Again, apply the rule. Ib goes with Vasteya. Ya, if you group it, Dihi will become free. So you can say Dihi with the proper Di. Otherwise, it will end up in Dihi, Damayanti, Dadi, which is wrong. So Bhuvpadau yasya nabhirviyadasuranilashchandra suryau cha netre. Karnavasha shiro dyaur mukhamapi kahano yasya vasteyamabdhi. Is it fitting nicely? Good. So I think we'll stop here. I think it was a very intense class with a lot of detailed technical information on Nyasa. For those of you who are getting tired, another trick, Control I, which is a good tool if you're in IT. Ignore, pick up what you want to learn and just continue with that. But for those who are interested in learning, initially it may be very complicated or tough, but once you get into the subject, it is such an ocean, and you will really, really be impressed with the system that we have been gifted with. And I'm sure when you talk about explaining white clouds and free nectar and oceans and all that stuff, it will look very funny for those who are hearing it for the first time. But I don't know how many of you have been to Kailash Mansarovar. If you have not been, please do. If you have been, I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm practicing Vedam since 1974. But
Guruji, did you really witnessed all that happening in Manasarovar?
everything,
We missed it.
everything, because I'm not marketing that company because I don't think they're continuing to do it now. They're doing it in a different form after the Chinese stoppage. But my condition to go with that particular tour operator was very simple: that I need to do the homam in Pashupatinath temple in Kathmandu. I must do the homam myself. They must allow me to do it. The second is to do a homam in Mansarovar. And third is, no matter what, parikrama has to be done.
That we did. But
Correct.
Manasarovar, nightfully spending time and then witnessing all that happening, that we missed, I'm saying. The stars and other things, all physics that plays there.
Everything witnessed. So the tour operator ensured that I was able to do all four what I wanted. Except one change where after I reached the Pashupatinath temple, it proved that no matter how much you learn, you're still an immortal idiot that needs to learn more and more and more and more. It's never ending. You never think too much of yourself. Don't be greedy, because there were 3 homokundams that they had erected, because we were about 66 people in that batch. So to accommodate 66 people around the homokundam, you need a homokundam massive size. And then I go there and they are saying, okay, Guruji, please, you wanted to do homam, please, in one of the homokundam. And in front of 65, 66 people, I look like a absolute idiot to have demanded that I have to do the homam. And simple things like this will teach you a lot of lessons in life. I know Krishna Yajurvedam. What I know means I have learned Krishna Yajurvedam. I know about Shukla Yajurvedam, but I don't know how to chant Shukla Yajurvedam. And here I am going to Kathmandu in Nepal, where they chant predominantly Shukla Yajurvedam. So how can I lead one homokundam with Krishna Yajurvedam and other 2 will chant Shukla Yajurvedam? It just doesn't make any sense. So it was a lesson from God to teach me to say, okay, stay grounded and be humble. And immediately I told them, I said, I made a mistake by asking for doing this. You do the homam and I will support you with all the dravyams and feed and etc. And they said, not only that, because you have adjusted to what needed to be done, you take care of the abhishekam, because with homam you're supposed to do abhishekam to the lingam also, massive lingam. So a lot of things happened. But at the end of the day, I compensated by doing the full-fledged ghanam, yajur ghanam for Ashirvada. You just don't give the dakshina or sambhavana to the priest by handing over in an envelope there. In Vedic style, you chant ghanam or swasti. And they have never been honored like that. So they were very impressed. The net result of that was when we were brought inside, we were taken to another small temple, and suddenly I heard Krishna Yajurvedam, Rudravishekam happening. So by nature, I start chanting. I'm told to give all the dravyam for the Abhishekam. I give it. And then I look inside, it's a small garbhagraham in which the lingam is there. And there's a priest who's chanting Krishna Yajurvedam. So after that, I said, how Krishna Yajurvedam? He says, I'm from Kerala.
Naturally, and that is how it is.
So,
only from Kerala they do it. Yes.
In Pashupatinath temple, there is a rule that the priest will come from only India. All 4 priests are from India. That's a contract between Nepal and India. And this person is Priest Suresh. He is number 2 out of the 4. So this happened. We were taken to Guhyeshwari temple, which is one of the Shakti Peetham there in Kathmandu. And because of my background, I was allowed with my wife to be at the Garbhagraha as long as we wanted. We chanted the entire Kavacham, Devi Mahatmyam, and we were allowed to touch the main deity. From there, we were rushed to Pashupatinath temple through the priest entry, because there was a 6-kilometer line. And we were taken straight into the Garbhagraham, and there were 4 doors because of the 4 dwaras. And in one of the dwaras, we were standing there and it's pitch dark. And we said, instead of standing there and gossiping, we started doing japam. And I was able to understand what was going on inside. And they were taking out all the bilva leaves and rudraksha malas, and he was giving it to us, for me and my wife. And as if he started reading my mind, he said, you must be wondering that we are only talking about Shivan, Shivan, Shivan here. We are ignoring Ambal, correct? And that is precisely what was going on in our head. And both me and my wife are Sri Vidya Upasakas, and we have been given the Shodashi Mantra Upadesha. So we were chanting Mahashodashi mantra there. He says, you will see in the corner there is one person who is doing the Sri Chakra Pujana. Only after that is done, we can do the main Shiva Puja. So while Nirmalya Puja is happening, Nirmalyam is the flowers from yesterday. You just can't take it and throw it in a trash bag. Nirmalya Puja also, there is mantras that you need to chant and handle it. So while they were doing it, he was finishing the Sri Chakra Puja, so that the next step is Shivan. This whole society with crooked ideas of their opinions about women and men and superiority, inferiority, all, if you're really spiritual, you need to get educated and get grounded. After that, we went to Mansarovar. We were allowed to do the dip, though it was banned. So we dipped ourselves in Mansarovar. We got some Shivalingas there and Shaligramam also. After we came out on the banks of Mansarovar, with my left was Sri Kailasha. The plan was to do a very simple homa of Ganapati Homa and Rudra Homa. That's it. But moment I sat there, that lady said, Guruji, this is the priest that has come from Kathmandu. And again, my teaching is you are a Ritvik, you are not a priest like people who go to Patashala and make a profession. If they come, they need to be given the respect and priority. So I said, okay, if you are here, you can do the Homa and I can assist you. He said, no, 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 no. You are going to do the Homa. I'm here to assist you. So I did the same thing. Because I am doing Homam, I said, you take care of the Abhishekam. He was very happy. And because I was allowed to do the Homam, I learned quite a few things from our Sri Vidya Gurus. 65 people sitting there and just watching helplessly. I made all of them participate in the Homa. I told the ladies, I said, make this Homa Kundam as beautiful as possible. Do the decoration with all the columns and rangolis and everything that you can. Let it come out like a beauty. I told men to do all the dravyam preparation, everything ready. After periodically, I made them also put the dravyams in the Homa Kundam as I was performing various homams. So it started with Ganapati Home. Then my mind said, okay, why not you do Navagraha Home? Then I did Nakshatra Home. I did Nrityunjaya Home. I did Rudra Home. And it went on and for about 4.5 to 5 hours.
Bare chested
Bare chested in Mansarovar, yes.
Great, Guruji.
And then again, you're on cloud nine. Now I've done the homam which I wanted. Again, your buddhi is back to that. I've achieved my goals. And comes a slight slap. The tour operator is holding the mic. She's a Gujarati lady. She says, there is something that all of you should know. And I'm in that zone, chanting, I have to do everything right, so many things. And she's observing me. And she's then openly telling everybody. I don't know how many of you saw Guruji's face when we came to this place. His face was like this because he thought I'm letting him down on my commitment to him. That he will do the Homa on Mansarovar. My intention was not to bring the priest to say that he will do the Homa and not Guruji. My intention was to make sure that he doesn't fall sick because he has got 4 demands, out of which the most important for me is the parikrama. All these homas are secondary in hierarchy of priority. And then she says that was her 108th parikrama. Mine was first, for her it was 108th time. And she says there are many people who have come and gone, including Isha experts and everybody who have come and done Homa in Mansarovar. If you speak for 2 minutes, like, hello, Sita ji, how are you? Hello, Venkat ji, how are you? You lose about a point or two of oxygen at that altitude. It's not about I'll do pranayama and get more oxygen because there is no oxygen. So the game is all about oxygen management, not oxygen intake. And she says, in my entire experience, this man has chanted for 4.5 to 5 hours in front of fire. I was just watching where he got that energy from, how he did it, I don't know. But I was ready with my priest to take over if he falls sick, if he's unable to continue. That was her thought process. And my thought process was like so cheap that, oh, she promised me something, but she's bringing a priest to do the Homa. எதுக்கு ஷேர் பண்றேன்னா, we must know how small our thought process is. And if you go to Mansarovar, you will see the whole setup is what you see in Lalita Sahasranama and everywhere. Okay, that's the whole topic of how Meru is the center of the universe, where it is a connecting earth to the rest of the universe. The lotus-shaped mountains that are there around that, around Kailash. Everything is described in our books. So if you understand the meaning, and if you go to those places, then you can experience it. I lost my mom in 1983, July 1st. I did not cry or shed even a drop of tear because I had committed to her. And after that, I've never cried in my life. But when I saw Sri Kailasha for the first time on the banks of Mansarovar, I did Sashtanga Namaskaram and I was crying for 22 minutes. And this lady has already recorded everything and put on her website. That the ability to relate that what is Brahmand and how insignificant we are. There are so many things that you will learn when you go there. But why I am teaching all this thing is that it is important to understand the meaning, take it seriously, and don't let people mock at you that these are all fancy imagination or mythology. No, these are real. Yeah, sure, Yashiji, I understand. So these are real stuff. You just have to believe it. That it exists. Open your eyes, learn. Open your ears, believe in it, and you will go down the path of learning more and more and more. You're not going to be able to learn everything in one day, but you have to make a beginning somewhere and continue that learning so that you can pass on that knowledge to future generations. They need it as much as we need it in our generation. So, which is why I'm going to the level of detail. But for those who get overwhelmed, you can ignore it and just focus on the shlokas. That is also not a problem. Okay, va? So I hope this was very useful. Give me your feedback again. If we need to slow down or tone down the explanation, we can do that also. It's not a problem. And I would encourage more of you to give me your audio.
Can you share the name of the tour operator? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'll send the details. But I think they have changed to a different group. That lady who was doing it stopped it. Her assistant is doing it. I'll send you the details.
When I wish to.
Sure. They have reopened that Mansarovar now. The government of India has now negotiated with China to reopen that for Indians. Otherwise, for Indians, for 4 years, it was blocked. Okay. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.